We have made it to Glamis. It is, what morning is it?
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. I'm here with Michael and Chris. Michael and Chris are brothers, and you guys live near San Diego, California.
Yeah, right next
So,
door.
do we consider that locals? You guys are locals?
We're as locals it gets,
All right.
basically.
And they have brought some cool stuff. We've got some custom ATC 90's. We got a plus ATC 70, and they're going to share with us. But the story begins a couple days ago. I didn't know it, but I started talking to Michael on Facebook. He had a 350X, an 86 for sale. I was looking for a frame, but twist my arm, I'll buy a whole machine. So he couldn't fit it on the trailer with the 350X's over there and all the other goodies he brought. But we've made a deal. He's gonna bring it back. So I appreciate that very much, Michael. But that's after today. They're heading home. But before they leave, I've cornered them, and hopefully they can share with us about some of these cool machines. So, you mind if we do that?
Yeah, of course.
All right. We have Donna's ATC 90, US 90. I don't know what year this is because the frame doesn't have a VIN anymore. Is that right? Or never had a VIN?
Yeah, they don't normally come with VINs. The closest thing you'll get to a VIN is like a California VIN stamp.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not sure what year the motor is, but it is a 90 punched out and stroked.
What kind of frame is it?
We got a Dickson Joker frame.
This is a Dickson Joker.
On the front end would be a Dickson Springer.
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 Okay.
Close enough.
Yeah, it's basically got every part that Dickson ever made that you could have bought from the Dickson catalog. And we think it was definitely a show bike. I mean, that's obvious enough. But
Yeah.
we think it was one of the Dickson shop bikes, and it's got a lot of everything Dickson could have ever put on it. So it's a pretty clean rig.
So how's the Springer front end work? Does it bounce? Is it?
Works pretty good. The shocks would probably definitely need to be rebuilt considering they're 40 years old.
Yeah.
But for what it is, it's not too bad. Better than no suspension.
The springs aren't necessarily the
It does
heavy
something.
dutiest thing I've seen. Yep. Yeah. I love how it's plated
Yeah.
instead of painted.
Yeah, it's hard to find the plating in good condition at 40 years old, but this bike's been kept real nice.
Super Trap exhaust.
And the original tires and wheels are sitting on the shelf at the house.
Yep.
So we're not getting all dry rotted.
Designed by 3D. Do we know anything about that?
So 3D stands for Dickson Design and Development.
Oh, cool.
So that's the company that obviously they were like a big player in the catalog back then. They built a lot of 90s stuff at the beginning, and then they also raced. They were heavily in the race scene. They had a bunch of I know they had a bunch of Yamahas that they raced, like full suspension YT 175s. I know they raced 90s, and there's a lot of 200X and 350X Dickson parts as well that are really hard to come by.
Yeah. I don't even think I've seen any that I can think of, at least.
I have a Dickson swing arm at home. I'm a big Dickson fan. I think they made some of the best parts back in the day.
Do we know what the story on the seat cover was? That Dickson or another company?
That's probably a Bago seat, Baggo.
Okay.
That was a really popular seat manufacturer back in the day. They were really well known for their covers.
Let's see.
And everybody calls them BAP seat covers because they're popular.
Right,
but
Big Al's.
Big Al's never really made nothing. They usually sold Bago, and then there was another company called Pape.
Okay.
But we think this is a Bago.
Very cool. Now, how long have you owned it? Do you know? Do you remember?
So this was one of the first bikes I picked up. This was about like 4 years ago.
Yep.
We picked it up out of Los Angeles. You know, we saw it posted and we said there's, close enough. LA, Riverside, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
We saw it posted and we said there's no way I can let somebody else buy this thing.
That's
So
awesome.
We went over there, waited outside the dude's house for like 2 hours. The guy was a little of a bit of a character, but you know, we made it happen no matter what. And I've had a million offers for it, but it's going to stay with me till I'm done.
That's awesome. And you and your brother work together?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Team effort.
you're the face of the business, and he turns the wrenches. Is that
That's about
sort
right,
of the deal?
yeah.
Okay.
Half these bikes would be out here if it weren't for me.
That's right.
Yeah, if it wasn't for him, then none of these bikes would be out here, most likely.
That's awesome.
But it works together.
Well, cool. What's the next coolest thing we should look at?
I'd probably say the blue 185. We call it the Hanukkah Special. It's bone stock 70, nothing done to it at all.
Yep.
But,
This is how they came, folks.
yeah, this is how they came. The Hanukkah
Straight off
Special.
the dealer floor.
Yep, it's blue. You know how those Christmas specials are. But it's a custom 185 frame, full mini frame, full suspension, and they made it look like a 70, but it's clearly not. We like to call it a stock 70, but
What's the fork setup off of?
we believe those are XR75, but
Okay.
honestly, I don't know the manufacturer for pretty much anything on this frame.
Yeah.
It looks super well done with how tiny it is and how everything fits. I couldn't imagine it was a hack job. But it's an absolute ripper. This thing tears the berm track up out here religiously.
So it's a custom seat for sure.
Yeah, everything's custom.
Everything's custom. It has custom seat brackets and mounting and everything. The fender's actually bolted on, so everything like
The
that.
fenders are fiberglass?
Yeah, fiberglass, and then I'm pretty sure a normal 70 fender doesn't. It's more angled. I think this one swoops out a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's got a custom fiberglass front fender as well.
Yeah. 185 motor.
Yeah, 185S, but
Motor's bone stock.
motor's
I don't really think you need
actually
more power,
bone stock,
honestly.
but you really don't
Yeah.
want much power in this tiny little
Yeah.
contraption, whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's kind of a mix of a couple bikes at this point.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't even know what to say on this. You need like 2 days to digest this. Is the swing arm an aftermarket piece, or is that a custom built?
Everything's custom.
Everything's
This is
custom.
a full aftermarket frame. This is basically an aftermarket 185 frame. They chopped off the rear subframe, and then
Yeah.
they added a singular tube that just stretches back, and then 2 support bars for it. It's like really simple, but it was well done.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool. It looks tough.
Oh, it's a really mean machine. This thing gets around the berm track
You'll
like
ride
no
it
other.
once you ride it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ride this thing, you'll know the deal. This thing's really fun.
Where'd you find this one?
I picked this one up in a package deal down in National City, San Diego. Picked
Yeah.
up 3 other bikes with it, and
That's cool.
I ended up getting rid of those ones. I decided to hold on to this one.
Yep. Awesome. How about this one behind you?
So this is a Dickson Sprint frame. It's very similar to the brown bike that you guys saw. Also has a Springer front end, custom paint. The seat cover on it is actually one that I made. I had
That's
a
cool.
lot of. I've been tracking fabric down for years now, trying to recreate something that looks similar.
That's wild.
Yeah, and it's got a disc brake on the rear. You got a chain tensioner. The motor's punched out to probably like a 130 at this point. You don't see the disc brake on the 90's ever, but
Now, was that something that Dickson offered?
I don't believe that was a Dickson kit. What is that? I don't know. I can't remember what the brand was on those. But
Because it looks official like that.
No,
it is
the bracket.
It's a legit kit. Yeah, it works really well.
like something.
And we can take the fender off. This is the rider, but
Yeah.
we've got the PK exhaust, the VAP overflow.
Oil filter
Yeah.
or oil cooler.
Yeah, an oil. Yeah, I forget about those sometimes. Yeah, it's got an oil cooler on it.
So is this a battery tray?
It
Did this
is.
have a
When they originally got this bike, it had a 125M motor in it, but we
interesting
decided to not fuck with it and just put an original 90
Yeah.
motor back in it. Keep it simple.
PK exhaust?
Yeah, we believe it's a PK. DG made a pipe that was almost identical.
Okay.
It's hard to tell the difference, but we think this one's a PK. It's pretty much got every single part you could ever buy on it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what else I can put on the bike at this point. It's pretty much all aftermarket.
Nothing stock.
Yeah, there's nothing stock left.
So last night you were saying the difference between a Sprinter and a Joker is this one is more gusseted?
Yeah,
Yes.
you can see right back here on the carrier, all these gussets right back
Okay.
here. Then the top motor mount's gonna be different compared to the 2
Okay.
frames. And then up here, there's
And up
more
there, yeah.
gusseting.
Wild. That's so cool. I love how it's something that the East Coast guys like myself, we don't see it this often because this stuff was designed for the dunes, which lie right over that berm. So
Oh, this thing loves the dunes. We take the 90's out. We do a 90 little putt, and they still work.
Yeah.
It don't matter if they're 40 years old. They get through it.
And so these aren't the original balloon tires. These are the Chevron style Oats tires that came out after. Are these good in the sand here?
Probably the best tire
Probably
ever
the best
made.
tire.
Yeah, if I had a dozen of these, you'd see every bike with them.
Do you like these more than the Pro wedges I see on your 350X's over
Wedges
there?
are good for bikes that have more horsepower because
Okay.
definitely a little bit heavier.
They
have
grab more,
traction.
grabbing more
These
sand.
ones got like 1 pound of air, so it basically gives you suspension.
Yep. That's so cool. What's up with this hub? Was that a cast hub to give you a little more offset?
No, they're just.
Oh, they're spacers. Okay.
Yeah, it's got
wheel spacers.
Get you a couple extra inches. It's pretty necessary on the 90 if you're going longer, you want to go wider too. It kind of goes hand in hand.
Okay, I didn't know that was something special.
Now this is the checklist.
Was there any connection this machine to that machine?
No, this
Okay.
machine it basically started off as like a bare frame, and we put everything that you see on it. When we got it, it was just the frame and the front fork, and basically everything else we went on the shelf and just started throwing stuff at it until we couldn't do it anymore.
That's cool. That's cool. Do you have any Bandito frames?
I got a few, yeah.
Were Banditos on par with the Dickson frames? I know you talk very highly of Dickson, so
Honestly,
I'm just curious. I don't know.
The Bandito is probably a better built frame if you're comparing it to a Joker.
Okay.
Comparing it to a Sprint, I think they're pretty equal.
Okay.
But I've seen Jokers crack a lot more than I've seen Banditos crack.
Okay.
So
because the Bandito's got the tube and it comes down.
Yeah, I'd say the Banditos are definitely a little bit more sturdy. I think, do they weigh more? Or
no, I think the Jokers weigh more and they crack more, so it's like kind of.
Maybe they're too rigid.
I think
Maybe.
the look of the Joker just looks better.
Yeah, it does look cool. I give it that for sure.
The bike a little bit more, and it makes it like, I don't know, it makes it just look a little bit better in my opinion.
Awesome. Hey, let's talk about your A+. So this is the custom neon green axle A+ that they sold for a period of time. No. Tell us what you know about it. I don't know anything about A+'s except what Rex Slaughters told me, but I forgot.
Oh yeah, Rex is the A+ connoisseur.
Yeah.
He's definitely given me a lot of knowledge. It's just pretty much a normal A+ frame. It's got the A+ headlight guard on it. The motor is, I think we got put an 88cc in it with a cam and a port.
So stock bottom end with a 88cc top end.
Exactly that, and it does really good. If you're putting like a 200-pound fella on this thing, it normally shouldn't move that fast, but it does really well. And the suspension is, it's all crusty and dirty, but it works really well.
So these are custom frames, and like what I was saying about the the Bandito, the tube comes down, and that's where the swing arm attaches. There's some framework up top to, your subframe.
Hold the seat.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a pretty standard A+ build, pretty much.
And these came with fiberglass fenders that mimicked first gen 250R.
Yeah, so it's when you buy the A+ kit, it would come with the A+ frame, the swing arm, the front forks. These are obviously A+. There was an option back in the day if you wanted to get the headlight guard. I think it was like another $75 or something. This guy pretty much optioned it out everything you could have put on it back in the day, and including in the kit, it came with the rear fiberglass fenders. Because you can't run a normal stock 70 fender on it no more.
Yeah.
And it's got a Webco on it. I know everybody goes crazy for the Webco intakes.
That's the intake. Yeah, that's cool. I saw that earlier.
Yeah, those are really nice. I think they're the coolest looking intake I've ever seen. But besides that, the bike's really simple. It's got a nice foot brake. It works really good. Everything on the A+ is really good. A+.
I feel like it's a very thought out and well designed bike.
Yep.
Yeah, they clearly knew what they were doing back then.
So cool. I don't know what this is. It's not off of something. That's just came in the kit.
It's just like an aftermarket Cibi, like generic headlight.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Then you got your power machines over here. So these are cool. How long have you owned these?
That one, about 3 years. My brother did a full frame off. He can probably tell you more about that. It's got a bunch of stuff.
It's got all the goodies on it. I stripped this bike down, did a nut and bolt restoration on it. I put a stainless steel full Allen bolt kit on it. So everything, pretty much everything on this has been touched.
So I notice you got the green marking paint.
Yeah.
Do things loosen up out here more than other places?
Things loosen up a lot. I like the side hill this thing a lot, so
Okay.
it's always in the high RPMs.
Yeah. You got the NASA fork stabilizer.
NASA fork brace. I got a SRP front rack with the SRP. This is an SRP rack or headlight guard. Run the Cibi headlight for the night rides. Got an Empire exhaust.
How do you like that?
It's good.
How's the Empire compared to the Super Trap, or are the motors different enough where?
The motor on this one's it's 100% bone stock. I'm running a 350X carburetor. I could never get it jetted correctly on a 400EX.
Okay.
So I decided to just run it. I never ran a stock exhaust on a 350X. I'll be 100% honest with you, but I feel like this bike definitely has a little bit more pep than the Super Trap bike.
Okay.
I don't know. That bike does have a 400EX carb.
That's an 85 motor too. Okay.
And
Very
this
cool.
is an 86 frame with an 85 motor. You know, it's kind of.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yep.
It's kind of a hodgepodge of parts. You know, it started with a bare frame and worked our way from there.
The reason Michael and I got talking was I need an 86 frame to put. I've got a takeout 86 motor. So I made a post before we came out here because my son has started riding my go-to rider 350X. So I don't want to say, no, you can't ride that anymore. So the only option is just get another machine to ride.
You
So
never have enough machines.
that's my motto.
Never
That's
have
right.
enough machines. I mean, he didn't even touch on. It's got a West Coast on the back. Oh, that's the best part of that whole bike right there. That's the only reason I love that thing.
Oh yeah.
It's got a West Coast on the back. You know, we wrote it down with the Sharpie.
Yep.
Just so everybody knows.
That's how they came from the factory.
Yeah,
The factory like that.
And it's got a chrome dipped axle, PRM desert grab bar, and some spacers. And we love the Pro Wedges out here in the sand. They're the best tire you can ever get.
Really cool machine. I like what you did with it, Chris.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And this is more stock. Got a Goki. See the battery hiding down there, so that tells me it's got a Goki starter. So that's cool. Battery work good? You ever have any issues with?
Oh yeah, this thing will crank
Yeah,
right
it'll
up.
crank up right now.
So what Chris is doing is he is pushing the kicker down to engage the decomp system.
She's tired. She's cold.
Yeah. She's shy. She's, probably first video.
The camera's on it. It's like, oh, I don't want to run now.
Very cool.
It beats kicking it over.
Yes, absolutely. The pictures of the one you sent me, like, is this common that they lose the paint up here?
Well, this tank's I think it's been repainted because obviously
Okay,
it's
yeah,
been
you're right.
re-stickered. So I mean,
Because the pictures of the one you sent me had similar wear up there and
Yeah.
similar.
in a similar dents.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, you just spill a little gas on it.
Yeah,
For
tough.
40 years, it'll happen pretty much. But this bike's got the Goki, obviously. It's got a Super Trap, PRM skid plates. It's got a Speedo, but we don't have the Speedo
yep.
on it. It's got the drive and everything.
This
Speedo-
is the easiest part to find. So
What,
if you don't know,
the drive.
oh,
the
the
Speedo?
drive gear. Yeah, well, the drive gear for a 350X and all the bracketry
Yeah,
is
hard
tough to
come by.
find.
Absolutely.
But the Speedos are all interchangeable. So
Yeah, the Speedos are a dime a dozen, but the guy who I bought this from, he actually was installing it before he passed away. So this whole drive assembly has actually got 0 miles,
Wow,
technically.
okay.
I mean, except for the miles I rode it, of
Yep.
course. But the Speedo still says 0 on it, and I just don't really want to put it on there in case I wreck the bike. And,
Yep, I hear you.
ruin the Speedo for no reason. So
Yep. Very cool. What's this off of?
I have no clue.
Okay.
We just needed something.
That was a last minute deal. Yeah, we just need
Make it
something
work.
to get
Make it
out
work.
here.
Get out here. Yeah, I shouldn't be asking you. I gotta ask Chris.
Yeah, he's a
I think it's like probably some dirt bike master
Yeah.
cylinder, but I mean it works. We have an original one sitting on the shelf at home. We just need to replace it.
Very cool. Well, I have taken up a lot of your time. I think it's probably a good place to end on. Plus, we talked about all the machines. But Chris, Michael, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
We got one ride with you guys before you head off, and we're here for a couple more days. But we'll see you again tomorrow. You said, I think, right?
I'll see you in the
So
morning.
see you in the morning.
Be here on
Awesome, sir.
delivery service.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good one.
Have a good one, Chris. Just bought my newest 350X out in the desert. 4 feet. 2 feet. And what is a three-wheeler trip to the West Coast without picking up something to bring home? So our new friend Michael and his brother Chris had this lovely unit for sale. I had made a post. I was looking for an 86 frame, and I did find one from Richard Mastis that needs to be gusseted, but Michael reached out to me and said he had this unit, and the price was to the point where I couldn't say no. Here's what I know about it. Super Trap exhaust, obviously. Custom angle iron on the grab bar. Motor's got next to no compression, so will need to be rebuilt, but I've got a takeout motor. And what I am envisioning is fresh powder on the frame. There's a little bit of a repair that I got to make on the other side. Put in a takeout motor, 400EX carb, Super Trap. But this is going to be my rider. It's got an 86 front rim, 86 frame, obviously. It's got second gen 250R wheels on the back.
Well, it's out of gas anyway, so
It's got the tool kit. There's no tools in there. Let me get to the other side. The headlight assembly looks a little sad, but that's all right. It's got most everything on it. It's got a nice steel tank. Inside's really nice. Outside, not as nice. We'll see about having our friend Brad redo this tank, maybe. I've got a seat coming from Tammy Mosier. This is going to be perfect to tear down and redo. How about it? $2,200 bucks. How'd I do?